as we gather this day, we allow that voice to sound again. And we pay attention. We pay attention that the voice of God breaks forth as the clouds are separated. As we come up again from the water with Jesus. In the waters of baptism, in the waters of our morning shower, God sounds again over us as God's voice sounded over Jesus, claiming us in newness of life and calling us to hope. But are we listening? It's so easy with all that is going on around us to tune out the voice of God. What happens if we pause for a moment? Pause and listen. How is God's voice sounding over you? Claiming you as beloved when you feel broken or lost? Calling you a child when you feel orphaned or wondering what is next? Calling you in promise when despair seems to be all around, when fear seems to be submerged and hope struggling? How is God's voice sounding and calling you forth into life, vocation, and ministry? You see, Jesus comes forth from the water, the voice booms, sounding over him, and then he is propelled into a life of witness, a life of ministry. We know that he ends up in the wilderness, the same place the ancestors had worked for 40 years to get out of. He ends back up in the wilderness to be tempted, to be struggling, and yet knowing that there is a voice that has sounded over him and holds him fast in the midst of all that. A new creation. Today is an opportunity for us to dwell richly in what it means for God's creative voice to sound over us. To us to come out of the waters and to see God in Jesus laying claim to how we live our lives. As with the children, I invite you always to come and play in this water. Make the sign of the cross as you come forward to communion or as you go back. Think of what it means to have God's voice sound over you and for you to be a new creation. Martin Luther loved that image of getting up in the morning and being reminded of your baptism, being reminded in prayer of new life. Make the sign of the cross. Feel, sense, hear God's life, God's love breaking through in you. For you see, as we gather this day, we are a fully embodied people. Now, some people don't like the word pagan, but this story is very much a pagan story, in that it is about the countryside, the rural, the embodied. And these are people, we are people who long to feel the breath on us, to hear the voice, to have the water wash over us, and then our feet set on dry ground. That no matter what we enter into next, wilderness, Jerusalem, the city, or back to our daily life in the surrounding countryside, we have been fully made known and have touched and sensed the holy around us. And for that, on this day, we give great thanks to this one who draws us to the Jordan, to the waters of creation and creativity, and sends us forth in new